This week on Counting Duggars, we're celebrating Jill and Derick's 7th wedding anniversary. Plus, news of Josh Duggar's motion to delay his court case and why Jessa Duggar is planning on giving birth to baby number 4 in the hospital. We've got all that and more in our very first episode of Counting Duggars. Welcome to Counting Duggars, a new show where we break down everything about your favorite reality TV family. I'm your host, Joe Drake, with my lovely co-host, Sophia Valinsky. How's it going?
Fine. How are you, Joe?
I'm good. Things are good. I mean, it's hot in New York City right now. Is it hot in Minneapolis?
It is hot in Minneapolis. We had a big storm last night, so it cooled stuff down a little bit, but...
I mean, I feel like the whole country is going through a heat wave.
Definitely.
So we have no choice but to lock ourselves inside with the air conditioning and catch up with Duggars.
Exactly. Lucky us.
Yes. Well, let's get right into our first segment because, as always, there's so much Duggar news that goes on in the world. But recently, we want to start with good news because recently Jill and Derick Dillard celebrated their 7th wedding anniversary, right?
They did. 7 years. It's been June 2014.
I cannot believe that.
I know.
I was also thinking about putting this first episode together. I went back and watched their entire ceremony. For the fans out there is on YouTube. Like, we're talking like raw footage. I don't think it was like touched by TLC. So like if you want to watch like the camera in the back of the church, like you can watch the full like 2-hour situation. And it was a long one, but it was fun to sort of revisit.
Yeah, I watched it too. It was.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I did. Oh, of course. Just under 2 hours. We got to see everybody coming. We got to see all the speeches and all the excited siblings. And yeah.
They posted on Instagram, quote, 7 years ago today, we said I do and became husband and wife. And Jill wrote, at Derick Dillard, I could have never imagined at the time all we'd face together and where we'd be now, but I'm forever grateful for you always by my side. I have to say, I'm definitely a Jill and Derick fan. If like I had to pick a couple that stands out to me, I definitely choose them. Do you feel the same way?
I completely feel the same way.
Right?
Yeah, they just seem so comfortable together. Not that nobody else does, but I really like their dynamic.
Definitely. There's like an energy there that feels like they're like, I hate to say the cool ones, but like they just have a little bit more of like, they like do their own thing, right?
Totally. Completely. Yeah.
And they were talking about on social media, we'll have to follow up next week to figure it out, but apparently 7 years is wool or copper. So they were trying to figure out what to buy each other for their anniversary.
Those are tough ones.
That is a tough one because wool, with the heat we were just talking about, I feel like wool off the table. I would recommend copper jewelry.
I like copper, trendy. Yeah.
Very cute.
Classic.
All right, well now on to Jessa Duggar. She announced recently that she will be giving birth to baby number 4 in the hospital, which is not normally the case for the Duggar family, right, Sophia?
It's definitely not normally the case for the Duggar family.
I mean, I understand that they do their own thing in terms of home births and all that stuff, but based on what Jessa went through, and she talked about it on her YouTube vlog, I think it is the safest route to go and do it in the hospital because you don't want to mess with what could happen during a home birth. Let's take a look at what she said on her vlog.
What is your birth plan for this baby? So Ben and I talked this over a lot and we decided that we're going to do a hospital birth this time. So that'll be different. I've had 3 home births, 3 great home births, good experiences, no complications with the birth itself, but I have had postpartum hemorrhage 2 times, with my first and my third. A hospital sounds like very different, and like I've wondered, will I be able to relax in that environment? Will things be able to progress, or will my body be like stressed and tensed up? Like, I don't know.
I mean, I think she's making the right decision, don't you?
Absolutely. I'm glad that she's following her heart no matter where that leads.
You know what it reminds me of is that movie that was just nominated for an Oscar this year, or the lead actress was, and I can't think of the name. But it was about like a difficulty at home birth and how like the ramifications of if something could go wrong is like how devastating that can be. So I think, yeah, it was a very good movie. I recommend watching it, even though I don't have the name right now. But it just is a reminder that like you need to be taking safety precautions in these moments, especially if you know that you've had complications in the past.
Absolutely. Even though we live in 2021, you never know what can happen, and we're lucky that we have options available for however people like to do their thing.
Yeah. I mean, she is already mother, as fans know, to Spurgeon, Henry, and Ivy. And she did say that she is a little bit nervous about having baby number 4 in the hospital, which I understand the nerves, because I'm sure it's because she's just not used to it. But I mean, I'm not a woman and I've never given birth. However, I would feel most comfortable in a hospital.
Yeah, probably.
Right? All right. So as for an update on Josh Duggar's child pornography case, this is an extremely horrible story, but we wanted to give fans some updates on some recent news on this, because his legal team requested that this be pushed to 2022, but the motion from the court was denied. The court said, quote, continuance as requested until February of 2022 would result in unnecessary delay. So it looks like it will be moving forward sooner than later. Like I said, it's a really horrible story here, but I think the court made the right decision because, like they said, there is unnecessary delay. Like, why wait till next year? I think that it just needs to be dealt with now. There's no reason to put it off. So keep you guys updated on what happens with that. But we want to move on to some happier news, because each week we are going to highlight a Duggar social post of the week, because they always post the cutest stuff on social media. And this week, we got to give it to Derick Dillard. I know I've decided, like, people, but he posted last week on Instagram that he is currently in law school, posting a photo saying, quote, day in the life of a law student. Did you see that post, Sophia?
I did, and I watched his vlog about it too.
Yeah, what did he say on the vlog?
He went through the day in the life of Derick Dillard as a law student. It was really sweet. It showed how, of course, he wakes up and the kids get up too, and he has his parenting duties alongside his work as a student. And it's impressive how they're balancing everything. And
yeah.
Jill was so supportive. It was really sweet.
It reminds, my cousin went to law school. My dad is an attorney and went to law school when I was young. So that picture actually reminded me of like what my dad likely had to deal with when I was young, and like what that entails of like, when I was little, I didn't understand that going to law school was so intense.
Absolutely.
But just that picture of him like engrossed in his books, it was like being a father of these kids and having to study. That's a lot. Yeah. But I commend him for doing it, because I think coming out of it and practicing law will be a wonderful thing for his family.
Absolutely. It's very impressive, and it's cool to see him so engrossed with both his kids and his studies.
Definitely, for sure. All right, last but not least, we do want to bring up something each week, because of course the Duggars live by their own set of rules, and I don't know about you, Sophia, but I don't necessarily live by those set of rules. So I thought it would be fun for each week we would pose a Duggar question of the week. So each week we want to ask each other a question and discuss whether or not we could sort of live like a Duggar. So for the first Duggar question of the week, of course we all know that they require a chaperone on dates before they are married. So Sophia, let me ask you that question. Would you be comfortable with a chaperone while you're on a date?
I mean, that's a tough question. I guess it would kind of depend on the situation. I do like my parents, so I guess it's important that whoever I'm with likes them too. But at the same time, I think I appreciate getting to know someone on my own accord first.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
I understand the idea of it. It's very old school. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just think in our generation, and even the generation below us, it just doesn't compute having a parent or a chaperone or anyone join you on a date. But I think it's all for good intention. Oh,
absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
All right. So the second follow-up question to that is, have you ever gone on a date with a chaperone?
I have not gone on a date with a chaperone.
No, I have not either. What I have done is I've told friends where I'm going,
good.
And they've either like kept track of me, or even back in the day, I think like in the high school or college, my college days, like friends would come to the same restaurant to like spy. Course. That was more of like a spying, less chaperone thing. But I guess it's the same concept.
It is. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Right?
There's more, similarity than we might think.
Yeah, like if anything goes wrong, they're there to rescue you in the same way that a chaperone is.
Totally, and give their opinion afterwards. Just like you talk to your friends and say, you might recount all the details, but maybe,
I like this question of the week, because maybe we've decided the Duggars aren't that weird for having the chaperone thing.
I know.
Before I judge them, but maybe not. Maybe they're onto something here. All right, well, that is it for our inaugural episode of Counting Duggars. Thank you so much for joining me, Sophia. Don't miss us every week on Us Weekly's YouTube channel, because we will be dropping a new episode of Counting Duggars every week. Thanks for watching.
Bye.